This video is sponsored by Visible.
Morning, another day, another real-world test. Today, we're doing on the Samsung Galaxy A42 5G, which is one of a few mid-range devices that Samsung has just launched. I just actually realized the maybe it's affordable? I don't know. Either way, if you're not familiar, I'm going to go through my normal day using this phone as my actual phone, my SIM cards in it, etc. We're going to talk about the things that I like and don't like about it, as well as take photos on it and some of its competitors, put those up on the screen so you guys can see how it does. And we'll also check in on the battery by the end of the day. And all of that while exploring a new hood. Today's hood is going to be a neighborhood just south of me here in Brooklyn called Bed-Stuy. And well, I just looked on Google Maps, and the fastest way to get there apparently is not a car, it's not a train, it's a bicycle. I almost forgot to say it. First things first.
Coffee. Check. Our first stop is Burley Coffee. Now, a friend of mine who actually just moved into this neighborhood, literally like last week, has come here a bunch of times already and told me to check it out. I think it was a good call. Coffee, delicious, first off. Also, it very much has this like neighborhood coffee shop vibe, which I love. They even sell beer and local art from some of the artists, as well as local like maple syrup. It's cute. Now, you might know Bed-Stuy is where Jay-Z grew up, in Notorious B.I.G. Also claims it is his hood. But you probably didn't know that it's also the largest collection of Victorian houses in the entire country. There are 8,800 houses, all built between 1890 and 1900. In addition to that, it has a huge history of jazz that still is present today, as well as a ton of live music, at least pre-COVID times, but it'll come back. And a website I actually really like for their reviews of food called The Infatuation actually said, if you come to Bed-Stuy and don't get Caribbean food, that's like going to Little Italy and not eating any Italian. Now, as I mentioned, this phone is part of Samsung's new mid-tier, like more affordable lineup called the A series. In fact, the A51, which is the phone above this one from last year, was the top-selling phone by Samsung in the entire world. All of the S21s, the S20, all of that, no. It was the A51. And a lot of that probably comes down to the fact that a lot of people are sick of paying exorbitant prices for phones. This phone starts at $399, and as always, I'll leave the best price I could find at the link in the description below. But for that, you still get a Super AMOLED screen, which is a 6.6-inch screen with a teardrop instead of a punch hole. But it's great. I can see it outside in the daylight, which is all I care about. Resolution is a little bit lower though. It's at 720 by 1600, so it's not going to be as crisp compared, like especially side by side to like an S series device. But I don't really think you'd notice that much if they weren't side by side. And compared to other devices in this price range, it's not too bad. Also at that price, you get 128 gigs of internal storage and a micro SD card slot to expand the storage, which even the S series no longer really has. We also have a 5,000 milliamp battery that we will test out today.
Okay, now we're in that historic area that I mentioned. It's about 5 blocks long or so, and it has a few streets included. Actually, in 96, it extended from just the one street to include those other couple of streets as well. But as I mentioned before, it is the largest collection in the United States of Victorian homes. And these were kind of all built between 1890 and 1910 for the growing, upper middle class that was happening at the time. It's basically this collection of, I guess they're called row houses, but they're really pretty, and like tree-lined streets, and it's Very cute. While we're here though, let's talk a little bit more about the phone. Okay, first gripe, the fingerprint sensor. It is not good. It just takes a really long time. You have to like hold your finger there for a long time. Sometimes it doesn't recognize my finger. I've reset it a bunch of times. It's just not great. You can use a pin. You can also use, the face recognition that they have. But of course, with masks on, that doesn't work very well either. So, just something that bothers me. Now, as far as the styling is concerned, I mean, it's a $400 phone. So I don't expect much. I do think from the front, it actually looks pretty modern and a lot more premium than some of the other $400 phones that you can find. The back, though, of course, is a plastic. Samsung does try to differentiate it with this kind of banded design, which I don't mind. But yeah, it's still, because it's plastic, it still has a cheap feeling to it. But again, $400. The one thing that it does have, though, that most $400 phones don't, is 5G. And not just 5G, it is sub-6, and it also has millimeter wave. Now, the millimeter wave here in the States can only be used on specific carriers, but coming this spring, it'll be able to be used on our sponsor of this video, Visible. Now, Visible, powered by Verizon with 5G included, is actually a super fast network, but you get the added benefit of not having to go into a store ever. In fact, they even support eSIM devices. So if you have an eSIM device, you can activate service from the comfort of your own home in 15 minutes or less. Right now, that works on iPhones, but it is coming to Android phones very soon. And the other big benefit about Visible is the fact that it just costs a lot less. It's $40 a month for unlimited everything, and then if you add other members to your plan, what they call a party pay plan, you can get that down all the way to $25 a month, which is crazy. And I even did a speed test here in Bed-Stuy, and we're getting pretty good speeds, if I do say so myself. If you want to learn more about Visible, you can click the link in the description below. And thanks again to Visible for sponsoring this video. Now let's go find some Caribbean food. So this is a double, and apparently it's a common street food in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's called a double, I found out, because it's 2 barras, which is like a flat fried dough, and then it's filled with curried chickpeas. All right, my first ever double. It's really chewy dough. It's almost a little sweet, but the inside is it's almost like a curry. It's pretty good. She asked if I wanted it spicy. I said yes. It's got a kick. It was good though. $2 too. $2. So for the processor on this phone, we are using the Snapdragon 750 5G, which is Qualcomm's kind of newer mid-tier chipset, and that's paired with 4 gigs of RAM. I played the last Phone 9 on it, and it does a good job. It's not the smoothest or the fastest, obviously, but it plays just fine. It doesn't really affect the gameplay. And this is something I kind of feel with a lot of mid-range chipsets and mid-range phones. You don't really need the top-of-the-line specs to play most mobile games, as they're kind of aimed to the lowest common denominator, right? The people who make these games want them to work on as many devices as possible. They don't want, you to have certain specs in order to be able to play it. They want as many users as they can get. So most games are just not that taxing based on that. And so they run fine even on your less expensive devices. I will say though that when navigating the home screen and opening the camera, for example, just doing other things, every now and then there is a little lag.
That pole is yours. It is definitely yours.
Just walking down the street. It's just, the street. And this person has chickens. What? All right, now let's go meet that friend that I talked about who told me about the coffee shop that just moved to Bed-Stuy. Him and his girlfriend moved here from Indiana, which is amazing. Very excited for them. But we're gonna go grab dinner at a place called Peach's Hot House. And it's a place in Bed-Stuy that's known for its Nashville-style hot chicken sandwich. They also apparently have a extra hot chicken sandwich, which is, according to the internet, terrifying. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Hot chicken. Not extra hot chicken. Hot chicken. Messy chicken. It's actually not that hot. It's really good though. But we did get the extra hot, but we're gonna wait for that because if that's as hot as it sounds like it's gonna be, it might ruin the rest of this. So we'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Oh, it's very flavorful. It's really good.
I would wait a sec.
Yeah.
Anything? You all right? No? Mild?
It's hot. It's not like. Okay. It's got a twinge on the
There's a
tongue.
delay.
Yeah. It's got a thing. Ooh.
Is it not enough? You feel like you keep looking like you want to take another bite.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay. Do it.
It's on the lips and it's on the tongue. And it does not let go. Ooh.
And to be clear, like all we have is beer, which is not going to make it better. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, that does not make it better.
No, it doesn't. Beer makes all spicy things worse. Always.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was probably dumb.
Okay, now it hurts.
5 seconds later. Are you just shoving fries into your mouth? Was that helping? Is the mayonnaise helping? It's white like milk. Maybe it helps.
He's crying.
I think it takes about like 20-30 seconds to really kick in.
I'm feeling the beginning of it.
Yeah?
It's building quick. All right, I'll do one more. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done.
So you know how compounding interest works? Compounding chicken bites. That is now getting a lot hotter than the first one.
Oh, it's getting worse.
No.
It'll get
We're going for
you.
water. We're going for water.
All it did was push it to my throat.
Okay, yeah. That's hot.
That's some hot chicken. Okay, after our ridiculously hot chicken, we decided to cool off at a bar down the street. But this gives us a moment to talk about the cameras on this phone. So firstly, we have a 48 megapixel f1.8 half-inch sensor with 0.8 micron sized pixels that are binned by default to 12 megapixels and 1.6 micron sized. Then we also have an ultra-wide camera, which is 8 megapixels with an aperture of f2.2. And beyond that, we have a macro camera, which I always think is ridiculous because we already know that you can use an ultra-wide camera to get that same effect, and a lot of companies do so. And then we also have a depth sensor, which is, again, something that just having 2 cameras on your phone allows you to use those in conjunction with each other to get depth information. So it always feels to me like macro and depth sensors are just kind of excuses for people to put more cameras. It's now a quad camera system, even though there's only really 2 cameras on here. So I don't know. For video, we can shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second. And then on the front of the device, we have a 20 megapixel f2.2 front-facing camera in that teardrop notch. Now that is also capable of 1080p at up to 30 frames a second. I just said bye to those 2. I'm excited that they're here. Glad they moved. I think you're gonna have a good time. And Bed-Stuy's cool. It's a good excuse to come check it out. But now, let's head home and see if we can wrap this up. Okay, calling it a night. It is 10:31 p.m. and we are at 16%. And here's my screen on time and my usage for anyone who's curious about that. Overall though, I think the battery life did a good job. I took a lot of video, a lot of photos. We're also running 5G all day and it lasted all day. I actually took it off the charger at about 8:30 in the morning. So pretty good. As far as the phone is concerned, is it perfect? No, but it gets a lot of things right. And it's that $400
price that kind of, it's just in its own little world. There's a lot of devices that are like a little bit more than that. Like the 4A 5G, the Pixel, is $500. And honestly, I would choose that over this. But that's an extra $100, an extra 20% or so, right? So if that is kind of your price range, then I don't know, this is a pretty solid choice. If you had a little bit more to spend though, again, I could name a few others that maybe would be better. But there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of this phone, of this video, the format. I keep trying to make it better for you guys, but always appreciate your feedback. Please let me know what you think. Also though, I will leave a link below to the best price that I can find on this phone, and links below to all the places that I visited in case you're curious about that as well. Lastly, quick reminder to check out Visible at the link in the description below. And thanks again to Visible for sponsoring this video. But if you like this video, please thumbs up it or share it. It's greatly appreciated. Also, check out the rest of the channel. If you like what you see there, please subscribe and ding the bell next to the word subscribe so you can notify when I do new videos. I have a bunch of other hoods that I've checked out. I'll leave links to that as well for other real world tests. Feel free to check that out as well. As always though, regardless, thanks for watching.